shaking things up, standing them down, and rounding up some feathery friends.
Like they were just kind of sitting in one of the beds.
Not what we'd call your average day at school.
We're gonna lift up and over.
Unless you're a student at Woodside High's Green Academy in Northern California. The Green Academy is a school within a school, and it gets students outside to really dig into environmental issues.
This class, we work out here in the garden, which is great. It's just nice to be outside on a beautiful day like this.
It's a 3-year program for sophomores through seniors. Marin Aldrich coordinates the program.
Our focus here is environmental issues.
Environmental issues like replacing fossil fuels with two-wheeled transportation and using renewable energies like solar power, even out here.
So we'll be using these to charge the battery that's in the back, and it will power the lights during the winter to keep the chickens warm.
We caught Cassie Lamphere and Minda Newhouse on roundup duty.
This black and white one right here is Tuffy. Right here we have Lizzie Bruin, and this is Too Tall just because he has taller red thing.
These chickens have the students to thank for the garden and very roof over their head. Eric Cisna and his classmates built all of this themselves.
We basically filled in all these wood chips and filled the garden beds with soil. We built the chicken coop. It was basically nothing up here.
Everything you see growing up was just dirt and like poison oak at some point.
It was endless work and very inspiring to see the students do all the work. Eric, why don't you come around to this side?
Making sure these guys have all the tools they need is part of Josh Rubin's job as a teacher at the academy.
Everybody's in charge of a certain plot of land, and they're given a full semester to grow their crops and hopefully produce as much food as possible to share with the class, to let the students take the food home.
So what's growing here? Just about everything.
So we have fruit trees just planted around here. This is a lime tree. They were planted last year, so they're not very big yet, but in a couple of years they'll get big and they'll start producing fruit.
And you can tell these guys like their tomatoes.
Yeah, we planted a lot of tomatoes.
And who doesn't love a pumpkin?
So these are not even as big as they're gonna get. They're still gonna get much bigger.
They even have peas growing on an arbor the students built.
It makes us really happy to see that we built something like that in the garden.
Today they've spent the day clearing out these beds, and now it's time to plant some broccoli. And they make the compost right here too.
These leaves which were gathered around the school that we're composting now, instead of having to just sit around, we're turning them into soil and putting them back in our beds.
We built this up with our own hands. We were there when we planted in the seedlings, and now that we get to eat the tomatoes, now that we get to eat the squash, and now we get to experience it. It's very heartfelt to be here almost, because it's kind of been like our home.
Now the only thing that seems to be missing is the barn. But wait, they've got that too. This is the bike barn, and it's a busy place these days.
So I like to call it the recycle shop. We're recycling bicycles.
We're taking in bikes that people donate to us, and we're fixing them up and getting people to ride bikes every day to school instead of using their cars.
Julio Vargas manages the shop and makes sure repairs run smoothly. Bikes they can't fix get taken apart, and their parts are recycled too.
Well, I love being in the Green Academy because we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint and make the planet greener.
It's all a part of the Academy's mission to educate and inspire these teens to make a difference.
If we didn't have trees and stuff, and if everything just died because there was a huge layer of CO2 over the world, we wouldn't even be here. This wouldn't even be happening.
People don't know their environmental impact and what they're doing to the planet. We could end up destroying the planet.
We're the generation where we have been handed down a lot of issues and a lot of problems. So in school especially, to be educated on environmental issues and the environmental impacts that we're going to be encountering today, I think it's so important because we want to save this beautiful place that we have. Go Green Academy!